Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Allah, Allah, Allah. Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. My name is Rami Koujah. I'm a disciple in the al-Karkari from the United States. Um, I'm a Ph.D. grad in Islamic Studies, and I'm doing a fellowship right now at Yale Law School. And I wanted to just take a minute to talk about my experience in the khalwa, which I had the great blessing and fortune of doing in this Ramadan of 2025. And for those who don't know, the khalwa is what's translated into English. It's the spiritual retreat where essentially you spend 3 nights in isolation in a small room, no lights, and you're just doing dhikr of the name of Allah for continuously, like nonstop, with very little sleep, and you're fasting while doing it. So it's a big initial milestone, really, when you are a disciple in the tariqah. And subhanAllah, like I came to the Zawiya this Ramadan, and I was very motivated to build my relationship with Allah and work on that and worship and attend lessons with Sidi Sheikh. So the spiritual aspiration was high, but but the circumstances kind of into which I ended up or like that that were kind of preceded the khura were really interesting to me. Essentially, I've been on the job market. I've just been getting like rejection after rejection after rejection, and the future from a financial perspective is looking really dim and bleak. But I'm like, I'm here. I don't want to let any of that distract me or get in the way of my spiritual progress. And then subhanAllah, there was one job that was like the last one that I was waiting to hear back from, and I had done an interview for it, and I thought I'd killed the interview, and I was feeling very confident. This was like the last opportunity really for like a serious job for next year. And then I get the email. I got rejected. And then subhanAllah, like as I'm reading the email, literally the same exact moment, I get the news that Sidi Sheikh wants to put me in the khudwa. Like I had just closed the email, and at that moment, like I was like, I don't even care. The chance to do the khudwa, it's like this is a dream come true. So, and it was completely unexpected because I'm sitting here, spending my nights in dhikr, my days trying to read Quran and do this, and I feel like I'm just like if someone had asked me, do you think like you're gonna go into the khulwa? I would have been like, there's no chance. Like I am like literally unworthy. I'm the worst disciple. I get distracted in prayer. I'm consumed by my egoism and my desires for the dunya. Like there's just no way that I'm gonna be doing khulwa. Subhanallah. And I mentioned this because one of the biggest takeaways from the khulwa was just the magnanimity of Allah Azza wa Jal, His mercy and His generosity, because you think that you are undeserving, I guess, of Allah's grace in this way, but Allah, my experience was like Allah wants you to know Him more than you yourself want to know Allah. And that was one of the most powerful experiences that I got from the khulwa. So essentially, you go into the khulwa, and each day Sidi Sheikh tells you to, the first day you have to combine rings of light, and then the second day you are unfolding these rings of light that you spent the first day combining, and now you're undoing them. The rings of light are now emanating out from the center. And the third day you are trying to dive into the light until it basically consumes your entire vision. And I had really like you kind of think, okay, like how am I going to be, this is Allah's light, this is Nur Allah, Allah Nur samawat wal ard, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. How am I going to kind of be able to manipulate it this way or do these things? And it's not really up to, it's not based on your own effort. It's really just Sidi Sheikh putting you in this situation, and it's really through Sidi Sheikh's his blessings and his spiritual madad, or spiritual assistance. And the visions that I saw were incredible. I won't go into too much detail, but essentially, like, I saw the Day of Judgment as described in the Quran. The Quran describes how the heavens are going, the skies are going to be rolled up like scrolls, just masses of people and the turmoil, and mountains just dissolving into just into nothing. And those were kind of some of the main visions that I had, apart from other things. And at the end of the 3 days, Sidi Sheikh came and he gave me Sirullah al-Azam, or the divine secret. And when he first gave it to me, I thought to myself, I thought I knew this. Like, you've read a lot of Sufi poetry, you've read a lot of uh, you know Sufi theology or metaphysics or whatever it might be, and you think that you have an understanding. And then I left the khudwa and I was walking kind of outside in the zawiya, and it started to impress itself upon me more and more slowly. And I was like, wow, I really had no idea what this is. It's just it's one of the disciples here described it as a paradigm shift, and it really is just a complete alteration of your experience with reality. Uh, there's no way to actually put it into words. You have to experience and taste it for yourself. And it was like, in a moment, my relationship with Allah had become infinitely more intimate than it had ever been in the future. Years of trying to study and learn and do dhikr and worship, and just in those short nights, everything changed. And just I saw, when I left the khudwa, I just started saying, Allah, Allah. Just the feeling of Allah, pronouncing it has a different flavor. Some verses in the Quran, you begin to understand them as if you're reading them for the first time. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ فَأَيْنَمَا تَوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. To Allah belongs the east and the west. Anywhere that you turn, you will confront the face of Allah. It's like you're understanding that truly just for the first time. وَاللَّهُ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. Allah is with you wherever you are. Again, like, you read that, you think like, oh yeah, Allah is everywhere, he's not limited by time and space, but like, you have no grasp of what that actually means until you taste really what that's like. It's completely different. And the Quran also says, وَهُوَ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْكُم مِّنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ, that Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. Again, it was like, these verses were starting to occur to me, and yeah, I was just awestruck by the beauty of Allah Azza wa Jal. I mean, you get the secret, and then it's bewildering and beautiful at the same time. That's really the best way I can describe it. But it's beyond anything that I could have imagined, and I'm just so humbled and grateful to Sidi Shaykh Mohamed Faouzi for the opportunity to do it. I thought I'm not ready for this. Like, if it was up to me, that's the answer that I would have given someone. But Sidi Sheikh, as a spiritual master, he knows what's good for you better than you yourself do. And yeah, like, after that was like, jobs. Who cares about that? Like, literally, the things that I thought were I cared about, I was worried, I was concerned, just became irrelevant and insignificant. It was like, I don't care about that stuff anymore. Like that's one of the very concrete effects that the khulwa does. Like you want to talk about like, okay, how does it change you? What, does it give you a different perspective? You just see things differently in terms of your relationship with other individuals, your relationship with life, your relationship with yourself. It's all just completely changed. It's a paradigm shift. Um, and then when you have the secret, now you finally have the permission or the idhn to start to do dhikr with Allah. You know, just the divine name Allah on its own. Allah, Allah, Allah. And I also began to appreciate like why permission for doing that type of dhikr is so important, because had I been allowed to, had I been doing that type of dhikr from the very beginning, I don't think I would have had as much reverence for the name Allah. And when Sidi Sheikh told me, okay, now you have permission to do dhikr with Allah, I felt like I'm holding onto a treasure. I felt like I have like a superpower or like a secret weapon, and anywhere that I go, like I have the ability to, and because like you just have a more reverence for it, you have you have a different relationship with Allah and with Allah's name. Um, so I wanted to share my experience with the khulwa just to give people kind of a sense of what it's like, and also to let them know that Allah is infinitely gracious and merciful. And I thought only saints go to the khulwa, people who are really far advanced on the path. But I'm the farthest thing away from a saint. I'm someone who is completely consumed by my faults and my sins and my flaws and all that stuff. But despite that, Allah wanted the opportunity to unveil himself to me. And that was just an extremely powerful and moving experience. And the second thing that I wanted to share was, before coming to the Zawiya, I was reading the autobiography of Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi, who was one of the major shuyukh of the tariqah. He was the Shaykh of the tariqah 100 years ago, and a very famous and influential spiritual master. And he was talking about the beginning of his spiritual journey and how he gave the bay'ah to his sheikh, and he was really he loved to attend classes on Islamic knowledge, theology, etc., things like that. And then his sheikh told him, he basically told him like to stop attending those lessons. And Sidi Ahmed Alawi said that was the most difficult test he was put through, because he was really passionate and motivated for that knowledge. And I felt myself to be in a very similar situation before coming here in Ramadan, because I'm an academic. I love books. I love reading. That's kind of just what I thrive on. And that's what gets me excited. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning to go seek knowledge and learn. And so when I read that, I was like, okay, like I know that the Sufi knowledge, what the Sheikh conveys to you, is very different from what you learn in books, but you still don't really understand or appreciate, and you think that, okay, me learning through books is going to help me build a relationship with Allah and get to know Allah more. And so when I came to the Zawiyah Ramadan, I was like, okay, I'm putting all that aside. I'm going to really invest myself in the dhikr, in the prayer, and kind of put all the discursive knowledge on hold for a second. And I tasted the fruits of that. And the reason why I say that is not so like, okay, forget about that. But if you're searching for Allah, this is the point that I'm trying to make. If you're searching for Allah, if you want to know Allah, you're not going to get it through books. It's just simple as that. You're not going to find it in the theological texts of al-Ghazali, al-Juwayni, even Ibn Arabi or anyone, right? Uh, it has to be something that you live and experience. And I know that I still have a long, long journey to go through. And if the first secret is any indication, I I can't imagine what lies ahead and what lies in store. And it's something that is humbling, but also very inspiring and motivating and encouraging. And it really fuels you, I guess, for wanting to know Allah even more and more. Um, yeah, Alhamdulillah, it's been such a life-changing opportunity, such a life-changing experience, and yeah, I just can't imagine I would have come anywhere close to this had I not, you know, put my spiritual progress in the hands of a spiritual master like Sidi Shaykh Mohamed Faouzi. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allah, Allah.